Hey Chad, can you tell us a little about your car?
Yes, this is a 1967 GT350 Shelby. In 1967, they made 3,225 Shelbys. Of that, 1,125 were 350s. The rest of them were the big block GT500s. I picked this up from a friend I met back in 1972 or 3 in a gas station. And I said, "Is that a real Shelby?" And he says, "Yep, it is." So that's how I met the car and the friend. And I had another Shelby just like this, except it was white. And so we became friends for life. And later in life, in the 90s, he got MS and couldn't drive the car anymore. So I stored it at my house. And eventually he passed away and I inherited the car. The interesting thing about the car is that it was bought at an auction in Burbank, California at Warner Brothers, a Warner Brother auction. And he paid $1,800. He had to go with his dad because he was only 18 years old at the time. And the story behind this is that this car was bought by Warner Brothers from Cutter Ford in North Hollywood. And they gave it to Steve McQueen when he was shooting Bullit. It was never in the movie, but he owned the car or leased the car for 3 years till like 1971 when it went to auction. It's all original. It's got a 289 high performance, 306 horsepower. It's a C4 automatic. Originally it came with steel rims and hubcaps, but now it has Shelby 10 spokes that he bought on the way and put those on instead. I still have the hubcaps and the steel rims for it. It's got the Shelby tach and speedometer in it, and oil pressure gauges and amp gauge below the radio. The steering wheel is wood. It's an Italian steering wheel, and now you can't even buy the steering wheel. If you can find one, they're out for about $5,000. Factory roll bar with these tensioners for, if you can slide it real slow, it'll slide, but if you pull it tight, it doesn't slide anywhere. Yeah, it's all original. The passenger seat has a lot of cuts in it, but the driver's seat seems to be fine. So it's strange. I don't think too many passengers rode in this thing. These are functional scoops on the top. They're supposed to pull the air out of the inside, pull it in, and back out and give you fresh air. The bottom one are brake scoops, and these are non-functional. They put them on here, but there's a hole there to drill, but it never was done at the factory. It's got the original California license plate right on the front, the old black and gold ones.
Oh, that's a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah. The Shelbys during this time had 4 lights. They either had them on the outboard, as they say, apart from each other, or had them right in the center. And there's debates on why they're different at different times of their development, but I hear that California wouldn't allow them in the center because it was too bright.
Huh.
So they made them put them on the outboard, on the outside, which is probably better. You get better air to the radiator.
Right, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, but other than that, it's got a fiberglass hood and a fiberglass trunk. And I'll show you the engine. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll show you the engine. It's got hood laps. I don't have the originals. They're somewhere lost, but it has there's the engine. It's just a little 289. It doesn't have the original exhaust. It's got headers, power steering, power brakes. That's about it. Some came with air conditioning. This one didn't. And it's 306 horsepower. And I don't know what the torque is on it, but I'm pretty sure it's about 330, something like that. And a C4 automatic. And it's got a 9-inch rear end, nodular case rear end in the back.
That's interesting. They put an automatic in it instead of a 4-speed.
Well, this became, the early ones were pretty much raced, the 65s and the 6s. And they wanted to sell it to the general public, so they had to soften it up a little. Put automatics. 66s had automatics in them, a couple of them.
Really?
Yeah, probably a 500 had automatics.
Wow.
They have an ID, which is right here, and it starts with a 2, a Z2, and that means 289, and a Z4 would be a 428. And that same number is stamped over on the other side of the car. Real nice car to drive. They're great on the highway. They run really nice. They'll go 100 all day. The problem with these cars, though, is that because of the fiberglass hood, the AM radio doesn't work. It just buzzes because of the interference with the distributor. Just like a Corvette.
Well, you've seen the Corvettes, they have a metal thing.
A metal cover over the distributor.
That's what yeah.
Yeah, and Ford didn't do that, so what they did at the end was they started putting the antennas in the back.
Huh.
And that solved all the problems. But no, they weren't much for listening in the radio. It was terrible.
It wasn't made to listen to the radio.
No, just listen to the engine.
This isn't what you buy this for.
Yeah, and it's a solid lift cam, so it makes it sounds like the valves are out of adjustment.
Right.
But that's what they're supposed to be.
That's right.
This whole back end from the flip up trunk, the whole back side of it is all fiberglass. And it's got the Shelby emblem and the gas cap. And there it is. It's got the original Goodyear polyglass tire on the 10-spoke. And out the back, it's got dual exhausts, so it's pretty noisy. It bothers a lot of people when you start up early in the morning, if you live in California. Out here in Arizona, we don't have that problem.
They don't care?
No, because the houses are too far apart.
Nice.
And when Shelby built the cars, they reinforced the C4s and C6s, so they shift harder. So that's another advantage that Shelby did, other than a regular Mustang.
Huh. I noticed the shift a little hard, and that was intentional.
Yeah, that's intentional. That's how they run. I'll get on a little here.